Hello, how are all y'all doing today? My name's India. Today I'm here to talk about how COVID brought me out of my depression. I am not a YouTuber. I'm giving a disclaimer right now. I am not a YouTuber. I've never done a YouTube video ever. This is my first one. The reason I'm making this video is because I intuitively was called to make a video to share my life. Well, this part of my life, because I'm 34 years old. That's a lot of life, so there's only so much I could tell you in this video. But I'm going to tell you the important part that I felt like really helped me get out of my depression. Which depression is essentially like for me was not loving myself anymore, not caring about anything that showed kindness to myself. So if that's you, if you feel like you don't even know how to show kindness to yourself, I'm going to show you how COVID, while being in the lockdown, in the pandemic lockdowns, helped me with this. I'm going to start from about a year before COVID happened. So COVID happened in March, right? March of 2020. And so we're doing a year before this. This is where we're at. Well, I want to start this story. Well, my story. A year before COVID, I was a bartender. I had been a bartender for maybe 13 years at that time. I'm not sure anymore, to be honest. Life was a blur being a bartender. You drink consistently every day, so that's why I really can't remember the time frame, to be honest with you. A year before COVID, I was a bartender, 13 years strong, actually very successful. My first year bartending when I was 20 years old, I made six figures. I was in college and I dropped because in my mind I was like, people go to school to make six figures. So why go to school? It was, and I was really good at school. I got scholarships to school, fully paid for. I didn't have nothing had to come out of pocket, and I still dropped just because I was like, well, people go to school to make money, right? And I was majoring in film, so I was learning about film. So I decided to drop. And I went full fledged into bartending, making it pretty much a career of mine. And it went really well. Like I said, I started off my first year making six figures. I went to school for bartending, so I was making really good money. So I decided to drop out of school. So I went full fledged into the bartending to the point to where I became a bar manager, which is really not easy to do in New Orleans, Louisiana. It's very competitive. So I became that at this place called Dat Dog, um, which is $1 million company in the city. So I was the bar manager at a major restaurant in major chain in New Orleans, and making six figures, have a whole bunch of friends. These are attributes of a happy person, you would think, right? I was not happy, none whatsoever. The most depressed I've ever been. Um, Going full fledged into the bartending pretty much led me to alcoholism. It led to my mindset just changing drastically because of that's what the chemicals do to your brain. And I weighed 192 pounds. I'm 4'10". 192 pounds is a lot on my frame. So I was hurting every day. I was hungover every other day because what I would do is, as a bartender in this city, you go to work, you make a whole bunch of money, you spend half of it drinking, and you go home. And it's a cycle. And maybe I would have one day a week off, and that day I was just recuperating from being hungover, from living the bartender's life. Um, so this became this out of hand for me, and it got to the point to where I was looking in the mirror one day and I didn't recognize myself. When I was bartending, I had no time for myself. I would just run out the house, put my hair in a ponytail, and go. And sometimes I didn't brush my teeth. Sometimes I didn't wash my face, my ass. It was terrible physically. I was in a terrible state. And I realized, like, okay, I don't do anything for myself anymore. Something's wrong. I think I'm depressed. And that was a hard realization to come to, because most people don't know they're depressed. You really have to, either stuff really has to spiral or you have to look within to kind of, pinpoint that. So I looked in the mirror one day and I just bust out crying because I couldn't recognize who I was anymore. I came from this smart, intelligent, beautiful, fun, energetic, loving life human being to literally paying people to leave my bar because I felt ill. I've never said that out loud to anyone. I will literally like, here's $20 to a customer. I don't feel well. Just can you please leave and don't tell anyone that I did this? And they would. I was just paying them for their silence. And once I got to that point, I was like, no, this has to change. So let me go back to that day when I looked into the mirror. I looked into the mirror and I did not recognize myself anymore. So, I believe you create your own reality. I truly do. And I had stopped practicing that when I became an adult. As a child, I was a great manifester. Lost it adulting. And so I asked the universe, please, universe, I can't do this anymore. I can't do the hustle game. I can't go to work and I can't just work and pay bills. I can't live that life. It's not for me. I was so sad. I literally was at the point where I was drinking just to feel a slight happiness, but it was hurting my body as well. So I was in a terrible spiral. And I just asked the universe, please, let's make everything stop. I cried my heart out. I was crying. I thought it was the ugliest cry I ever did. And I was like, please, just make everything stop. I just need to be able to stop. I know I have to pay bills, but I can't work anymore. I can't work and pay bills, work and pay. I need to be able to just focus on myself and do something for me for a long period of time, because it had been so long, 10 years plus, that I hadn't done anything for myself. So 5 months before COVID, I I guess my liver just starts to say, nope, I can't do this anymore. And I start getting to these vomiting fits, um, to where I would vomit and I can't stop for days. I've had friends witness this. It scares them. They think I'm going to die because I can't drink anything. I can't eat anything. And it's 4 days. I've lost 7 to 10 pounds in like a 5 day. I think the longest it lasted one time was 7 days, a whole entire week. I could not drink or eat anything, and all I was doing was throwing up constantly, maybe like 5 times a day. So this happened to me, and I knew this was the alcohol. This is something, I guess I was having liver attacks, gallbladder attacks. I don't know what was happening to me, but this was like the fifth time this happening to me, and I was scared. I was like, I'm going to die. I think I'm going to die if this keeps happening to me. So I once again, I got into a real surrender, crying my heart out to the universe and asking again, please, I really need this to change for me. I don't want to do this anymore. I will do whatever I need to do for myself to not have to live this lifestyle anymore. To be healthy, to be have well-being again. And so I asked the universe again. And I got my surrender energy. And I wasn't even trying. That's just how it felt. I'm telling you how the energy felt. And I just released. And I was like, universe, please, I can't do this anymore. I cannot be in the hustle. I can't do this anymore. I'm going to die. And I don't know. And I cannot be happy. I can't live and not be happy. So I just asked the universe, please help me. If any way, please help me. What I need is to be able to stop and just focus on myself and my bills be paid at the same time. I just need my life. I need to not have to hustle and work for someone so I could be me, get back to me. And this is what I asked. This is what I spoke into the universe. A month later, I lost my job bartending. I had got fired for smoking a cigarette. Something I did all the time. And mind you, I have my whole bartending career, some way, shape, or form, been fired for the most random of the stupid reasons. One time, as a manager, I locked the doors 2 minutes before closing time. We all do it. Every manager, Every manager does it. They've actually done it earlier. I got fired for that. Not written up, nothing. Had never done anything else before then. Got fired. And that has happened numerous of times throughout my bartending gig. So once I got fired this time, and I had no savings, I had no car, I had no nothing. I had nothing protecting me from this fire when I got fired. So then for me, when I was younger, I used to look at signs in the universe. The universe speaks to you. And I had just been in a drunk blur fuzz that I had been seeing signs for a decade. So this actually stood out to me for once. I was like, okay, I did absolutely nothing. Nothing that I don't do every day bartending, and I don't have my job anymore. Maybe this isn't for me. And so I stopped being a bartender. But I had no other skill but service industry because I dropped out of college. So I didn't go very far. I just became a host. So I downgraded myself to a host. So I wouldn't have full access to alcohol every day. It wasn't right behind me. I couldn't just pour myself a drink because I had got to the point to where I was pouring drinks every day, just myself, just to deal with people and customers. Because at that point I was depressed, and you cannot be depressed and be a service in the service industry. You will either make no money, or people will complain that you're upset and you don't have a good attitude. So have a complete poker face this whole time while I'm dying in the inside. So I downgrade myself to a host. It works for a little while. It slightly worked. I lost 20 pounds because I wasn't drinking every single day and every hour of the day anymore. It might be on the weekends or every other day. So it helped drastically. So I lost 20 pounds. I became a little happier because, I saw it in my, you lose weight. It's a dopamine effect, boom, you get happy, but that only lasts so long. And so I just go back to the old habits again. And I'm pretty much drinking like I used to again every day because at this point, at this new job I've gotten, I've befriended all the bartenders. They all love me. They all know I'm an ex-bartender. Some of them know me from being a manager on Frenchman Street. So guess what happens? They give me free drinks. And me being me, I'm not going to turn down people giving me stuff. That's just rude. This how I was raised is just rude no matter what it is. So then I'm back in it, right? So I get into another one of these throw up fits. And, I'm scared for my life again. I'm always scared for my life when these things happen. And I ask the universe again the same thing. I cry, a boohoo, and I tell them I just need my bills to be paid and have to do nothing at this point. I can't work. I can't be, because all I know is service industry. I can't be in that area. I can't be in that space. I have tried everything on my own and I can't do it. So this is what I asked the universe. Just help me with this, please. 4 months later, COVID hits. And, initially I think what most people did, I overate. I drunk more than I had done in a while. And I just kind of got depressed. Oh, and in the beginning of COVID, I had COVID. That week they sent us home, I literally got sick 2 days into the week they sent us home. Well, obviously I was sick before, but I started getting symptoms, and I had COVID. And I thought I was going to die because at that point, you straight up, they told you if you had COVID, you were going to die. I didn't die, obviously. I actually took something I've been taking since I was a child that will get rid of my flu and my common cold and things like that. I took that. It's not common. It's not on the market. Well, it's on the market, but it's not, you can't pick it up from the grocery store. But anyways, if you want to know about that, message me in the comments section below, and I'm more than willing to email that to you. But I digress. In the beginning of COVID, I pretty much did what everyone does. I drunk, was unhappy, depressed, and I'm a bartender. All the restaurants and bars in New Orleans, Louisiana closed for months in the beginning of COVID. So anybody who had a restaurant job, they were essentially let go. You're fired. You don't have a job. With that, I got the unemployment. Remember in the beginning that unemployment that they gave everyone. So I was making $800 a week on unemployment, and then I had got food stamps, and also all those rewards and grants that they gave out for service industry people. I got every one that I signed up for. I signed up for about five. So what I realized happened, all this was easy, y'all. I got this with ease. I like had so many people had problems with the unemployment and all that in the beginning. I got it easily. And about 3 months into COVID, I realized the universe had responded to what I had been praying for a year, or what I had been asking, speaking into existence. I needed the world to stop. I needed the hustle, period, to stop for what I needed, how I needed to heal, the way I needed to heal. And it did. It stopped. And also, I needed my bills to be paid and just be at home. So now I'm stuck at home and I have to focus on myself. Unemployment easily paid my bills for me. So I had the two things I was requesting: things to be paid and for me to just be in essentially a solitude so I could focus on myself. And I was. All I have is a boyfriend. I don't have any children. So, and his job didn't end because he was a landscaper. So every day I was home alone for months. For months. For hours a day just by myself. So being a depressed, unhappy person by yourself, you either go into a spiral or you figure out a way to be happy. I figured out a way to be happy. And the first thing I did, well, I just literally went into a literal sense of it. I have not cared for myself in months. My well being is at a bad state. At this point, every bone in my body was aching. My feet hurt, my knees hurt, everything hurt. And I was only 28, 29 at the time. I don't remember, maybe 30, y'all. I don't know. COVID just blanked out so many. I'm more than sure we all feel this way about COVID. We lost 2 years, 3 years, whatever. So I did it literally. I literally was like, okay, I have not cared for myself in a while. I have not cared for myself in a while. So I literally looked up self-care on YouTube. And if you look up self-care on YouTube, it's physical things that pop up: taking care of your hair, your nails, your hygiene, your teeth. Things that the basics that I had neglected for years. By this time, I had pretty much, since I had been still and not working for a few months at this point, I had already implemented the basics, right? I was finally combing my hair and brushing my teeth and taking baths, but I still wasn't happy. So what I started to do is like, maybe, so I took it up further from what I was seeing on YouTube to do. So self-care regimens I started looking up. And then you start getting facials, mani and pedis, massages, stuff like that. So I decided to implement one of these things that I can easily do. And for me, it was facials. So I bought a steamer. You can even go on my on my socials and see during COVID, I bought myself a facial steamer. And that was the first thing I implemented. And this is what makes it different than just like, this is what makes it more powerful, me doing these facials. I never wavered from it. I kept it at a certain time and a certain day. So I started off on Wednesdays. Wednesdays is my self-care day. And I started off with facials. So at 10 o'clock every day, at 10 o'clock a.m., I did a facial for myself. No matter what was going on around me, no matter what someone needed from me, that had to happen, no matter what. And I noticed when you promise something to yourself and you keep the promise, it is powerful how it changes how you feel about yourself. It's pretty much showing the world, showing the universe and yourself that you come first. I'm gonna give you an example. We all go to work on time, majority of us, faithfully, every day, all the days that you're scheduled. You don't miss it, and if you miss it, it's a problem, or there will be a problem, or it's not a good look, right? All of these things we think about just not showing up for work. But if I plan one day a week to take 40 minutes out of my time, out of my day, to give myself a facial, most people will say they do not have the time for it. So guess what that shows the universe? Oh, well, You don't have time for yourself. Well, we don't have time for you neither. Give you anything you want and you desire. So we'll just keep you where you are. And you showing your importance to your job. Oh well, your job's probably successful. That's where you should put your energy at. That's what you think is important. Obviously, you always there. You never waver from it, but you always waver from taking care of yourself. How will the universe give you anything you desire if that's what you're literally showing yourself and it daily? So what I did was I started off with that. So weekly, no matter what. And I piss people off with this. I'd be like, oh, look, someone will call me on the phone, oh, girl, I'm about to do my facial. I'm about to call you back after. And I would hear like, well, people be like, oh, okay. Like that's more important than talking to me and the time and talking to a person. You could do a facial anytime. I know what's going through their heads. It was going through mine for a while. So I promise you, if you take the time, and whatever it is, does not have to be a facial, just anything that makes you adore yourself, makes you feel love for yourself, some type of way. For me now, sometimes I read a book. That's self-care for me. It's for my brain. It calms me. It gets me in a serene state. It's showing myself love. And I get to read an amazing book that inspires me. All that's love. All that's for me. And I do that every day. And no matter what's going on around me, no matter what TV shows that's coming on at that time, whatever the excuse that we tend to make, I do it anyways. And oh my God, y'all, my life has changed drastically. Now I do facials. Now I have on Wednesdays I do facials. I do yoga. I go to the gym. I go out with a friend. It is my day. It's for me. And whatever brings me joy, whatever I think is going to show me love, I do it. And it varies every week. But with that, what has happened for me is that obviously I'm happy. Can you tell? Also, I started off at 192. I weigh 155 now. I no longer have a 9 to 5. I have owned my own business for 2 years now. Um, and I'm just happy. And when you're happy, this stuff flows so much easier. And it was just showing, it started with just a facial that took me 30 minutes max to do for myself. But what made it powerful is never wavering from it and staying consistent with it. You consistently show yourself love, the universe will consistently show it right back to you. I promise you, y'all. So I leave you with this. These are the two things that COVID created for me. It created stillness. So create some type of stillness for yourself in the morning every day. When you wake up and you go brush your teeth, wash your face, pull the toilet seat down, sit on it, sit on the toilet, take a deep breath, or stand up, whatever feels more comfortable to you. Take a deep breath, deep in your belly, and blow it out. And just sit there for 2 minutes in silence. You can have thoughts go through your head. I know a lot of people get weary about meditation or just being in silence because they hear everything ticking. It does not matter. Just being still is what's the power in that. And the calming of the mind will come with you being more still. Just do that. 2 minutes. Right after you wake up. That's your stillness. 2 minutes. And then after that, pick a day that you can do something that shows yourself love and shows the universe that you love yourself. It can be something fun. It can be going to the golf course, y'all, if you're a golfer. It can be playing an instrument if you're playing an instrument. But before you do it, have the intent that I'm doing this to show love for myself, to take time for me and no one else and nothing else. So, y'all, stillness and love for yourself. Just, I promise y'all try it. It is so good. And I think that's it. I have so much more to share, but I'm just going to start with this. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to leave my favorite earth guides, people that I follow on YouTube that I really enjoy, who have also guided me to where I am now. And I believe that's it. Um, I might make more videos. I want to make more videos. I'm going to make more videos. So look out for them. Once again, I love and appreciate y'all. Have a great day. Be happy. Do something that brings you the utmost joy today. I love you.